As per what happened last chapter, we know that Deborah, as a very strong individual, probably the strongest individual on Earth right now, is not going to have a single challenge from anyone on Earth. And we see that come to complete fruition here in this chapter because everyone is stun-locked by what's going on and by Deborah's appearance. And his aura is insanely powerful right now just because he is furious. So what do we know? Well, what we do know specifically is, as we said before, Cross was shot, and the status that Cross is in right now is most likely near lethal. There is nothing that the Sumerians are able to do on their end when it comes to medical help support. He is in critical condition due to a vital organ being shot, and even the human sorcerer's reverse curse technique is unable to save him in any way. So you have Maru, who is left in absolute shock that his brother is technically almost about to die. And then on top of that, you've got Tsurugi, who is completely dumbfounded by all of this happening in general, finding out that they can't even help him. They have no idea if Cross is going to survive this ordeal or not, which is just absolutely awful if you really think about it. The fact that Cross could potentially lose his life because of Yakumaru's bitch ass is ridiculous. So this brings us right back to the past for a solid moment where we get to see everything that unfolded with the arrival of Deborah. As the Sumerians show Deborah this, basically what might be Cross's corpse, he is utterly just pissed and ready to kill everybody in sight. And when I say kill everyone in sight, I quite literally mean for a moment, Deborah says, "How many of you are present right now?" He counts every single person. He goes 1, 2, 3. There's about 13 of you. I personally don't think that's enough, but for Cross's life, I'm going to have to kill every single one of you and maybe some more humans on top of that just to make up for the lost Crosses to our tribe. Which is, for one, it shows how this polite, very chill Deborah character who was more than willing to allow peace to happen between the two species, I should say. Deborah instantly lays down the law and shows that not only is he capable of being chill, but he is only capable of being chill because he knows he can take control of a situation whenever needed. It's not so much that he wants to be violent and he wants to be this way, but he knows full well that no one is going to be capable of stopping him in a situation like this. And we see it completely in honestly one of the most disgusting ways possible, because right here you have a moment where, again, Deborah is about ready to kill every single person that moves in this vicinity. And he's like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And of course, here comes the main confusion of everything, as we know. The event that makes it almost impossible for humans and Sumerians to coexist at this point. Because there is someone, the reverse curse technique user of Jujutsu Society even says as much, "Hey, I can't heal Cross, but the truth is, even if I could heal Cross, we're just putting out a fire that we started," right? Like, just because we heal Cross doesn't solve the issue of the fact that now every single Sumerian views curse spirits as Kalian. That confusion and everything that happened in this moment completely leads to the full-on acceptance that Sumerians fully believe that curse spirits are Kalians now. There's no budging when it comes to the Sumerian belief at this point now. Try as they might try to explain that these curse spirits are not the same as Kalian, especially now that they've lost Cross, one of their biggest advocates for coexistence. The entire idea of Kalian and curse spirit coexistence has completely, or being the same thing, has completely melded. Speaking of the people that are talking about Yakumura, Yakumura does get fucking absolutely dusted by Deborah almost instantly. Deborah is definitely acting emotional right now. This is without a doubt Deborah in an emotional state, because even in this panel right here, you have Jabaloma begging Deborah to stop. He's saying, "Please control yourself. Please get a hold of yourself." And this is where we see just how powerful Deborah is. Usami tries to protect Yakumura in a quick moment in order to stop everyone and get everyone to freeze, right? Usami uses curse speech and tells Deborah to not move. And in honestly something that we quite literally have probably never seen before, because something we've even seen Sukuna be affected by Inumaki Toge's cursed speech. The backlash was insane, but Sukuna was still affected. Deborah is so strong that the cursed speech doesn't even work on Deborah. But what's even worse, because the sorcery of cursed speech is still in play and Deborah is just ignoring it entirely, every step and move that Deborah takes is essentially just causing more and more of a backlash on Usami, to the point that not only his throat, but also his hand, his entire body ends up almost coming apart entirely, to the point where Usami is literally on his deathbed at the end of the chapter. I don't know if I have that panel here, but not just Cross, Usami is now also on his deathbed. And the reverse curse technique user is also, again, unsure if she'll even be able to get Usami out of his critical condition. Every step, every move that Deborah takes, so ripping Yukimaru's arm off, as well as Deborah moving in and getting closer to Usami. The moment, like, Usami is coughing up more and more blood, and Deborah is again just like, oh, this is how powerful that you guys are? Interesting. And then this is where we get the scene of when he's like, okay, well then there's 13 of you here. I can kill all of you, but I'm still not gonna feel like that's enough to make up for Cross's death. And you see the look on everyone's face here, because everyone knows no one's doing anything in this moment. If Deborah truly, really wholeheartedly was going to murk every single person here in this moment, no one would have been able to stop him. No one would have been able to do anything at all, which is honestly one of the scariest things imaginable. It shows how far Jujutsu sorcerers have fallen. Right as Deborah says the only way to make up for all of this is to kill every single one of you guys, and again, that he still doesn't even feel that that's enough, Usami, again, as he's collapsing and just spitting out like mountains and pools and just floods of blood at this point, Usami's body is quite literally destroyed. The only thing that stops Deborah from doing all of this is Usami falling to his knees, begs Deborah more than anything, if you're going to kill them to make up for what we've done, kill me. Save all of these people, don't let any of these people die, and just kill me. You only have to get rid of me. In that moment, looking down at Usami, groveling on his knees, covered in blood, and just looking up at him, and Usami again being the only one that has the confidence to stand up to a fucking calamity like Deborah. For a split second, Deborah is reminded of Dora, his old friend that he promised he would protect the Lumel for. And with that being said, Deborah turns around and says, all right, Jabaloma, let's pack up, let's get the fuck out of here. The only thing that saved them was Usami being bold enough to be the only one to die instead of everybody else, which again reminds Deborah of Dora. Once again, the only reason anybody is saved is Dora. Dora saved all of the Jujutsu sorcerers in this moment here, and none of these people even know who he is, which is just funny and insane to me, right? Like, it shows how big of an impact someone like Dora can have on the people around them, even though he's not here to actually do anything. The very thought of his character is enough, which is something that Gojo was saying, right? Like, even way back when, where your influence as a person transcends generations. This video is sponsored by GamerSupps, the ultimate energy and focus formula. Use my code NOOP now for 10% off, and thank you GamerSupps for sponsoring the channel. After all of that happens, we are essentially left with a crossroads here. As Deborah and Jabaloma and all the Sumerians take their leave, and all of the humans also take their leave, what ends up happening is the Sumerian people keep their ship docked in Tokyo specifically, and they make a declaration to the people of Japan as a formal government now. The people of Sumeria have declared themselves a actual government existing on Tokyo, and they're essentially saying that this is our land, and if you want to coexist, you must cease the exorcism of all cursed spirits. With this declaration to the human people, they realize that they're kind of in a terrible situation here. Now that the Sumerians are declaring themselves a formal government of people, and the only way that they will coexist with humans is if they cease the exorcism of all cursed spirits, humanity is now put in a terrible position because despite what the Sumerians want to believe, quite literally, the humans are like, well, we're kind of fucked here, right? Because we can not exercise curse spirits, but then all of the curse spirits are going to start leaking from Tokyo. And they're honest. They're like, hey, you know what? At first, if it's just fly heads, grade 4 curses, maybe leaking through the barrier of Tokyo, no problem. However, the curse spirits of grade 2 and higher that have been living in Tokyo and amassing power and getting stronger and stronger, that have just lived longer and longer in the actual heart of Tokyo, once they begin to break out of the barrier, it will be hell broken loose entirely. The one girl with the pigtails in the higher ups actually mentions that if that begins to happen, it's essentially just going to be the Shibuya incident all over again, but pretty much across the entire country. If not, they will begin to expand further throughout the world. That's my words, not hers, but that is essentially the implication that is given. Once the curse spirits begin to leak out and they begin to get stronger and stronger and begin to break through the barrier, it's essentially just going to be all-out chaos. So the issue is, while they realize that, you know what, they can't fight Deborah, they can't win a fight against the Sumerian people, they also understand that they can't just ignore curse spirits either. So they're kind of put in a very tough position. Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So essentially what ends up happening is a month goes by. However, in that month, the population of curse spirits becomes, just like everyone predicted, near unmanageable. The sorcerers feel like they have absolutely no choice but to go behind the Sumerians' back and kill curse spirits at night in the dead of the dark while no one is around, so that way they can keep the population at a regular level that isn't going to overflow while staying, out of, the political conflict. However, not the very smartest decision when you realize that these people have actual direct, spiritual connection with the curses. So even though they try to hide the extermination of curse spirits by doing it at the dead of night, again, the Sumerian ship is now located and sitting above Tokyo. As Oski does in this panel here, all they need to do is truly focus and they can still feel the deaths of curse spirits happening. They can quite literally still connect with them and feel voices. Now, the issue is, Oski is essentially communicating with all of these curse spirits at a constant rate, to the point that the people of Sumeria are trying to tell him, they're like, Oski, you don't need to do this. You can stop connecting with the curse spirits. Even Deborah is like, bro, you've got to chill with this. But Oski now lashes out at Deborah here and says, what do you know? You're just a Discante. You can't even feel the voices of Callian. You and humans are basically the same. You guys can't feel the Callian, you can't feel the cursed spirits' cries, so you just kill them without a second thought. And in that moment, something clicks in Deborah's head for a minute, and much to Jabaloma's sadness, Deborah basically looks at him and says, you know what? You're right. I am just a Discante. I'm not a Lumerian. I'm not one of you guys. I have my own way of life. And you know what? If that's what I am, then that's what I'm gonna be. And basically, what that amounts to is the only way to solve this issue for the Discante tribe is with a duel. And Deborah uses his Discante lineage as the next political chip going towards the humans because they will refuse to cease curse extermination. Deborah requests a duel of the human sorcerers, and he says, if we win, we keep Tokyo, and you guys leave us the fuck alone. If you lose, you guys can continually exterminate curse spirits as you feel, and we will leave. Well, as you can see here, Yuka is not doing so well. She's not looking so hot. She looks like she's got a little bit of she's looking a lot more like her grandfather right now. Let's just say this. She's got the Yuta bags under her eyes. She's got that, wow, the whole world is sitting on my shoulders kind of eye. And the reason for that is because they have absolutely no one else to fight in the battle against Deborah but Yuka Okotsu. Yuka Okotsu is their quite literal only hope of saving the world from the Sumerian threat as of right now. As a lot of people are saying in chat, because it's revealed that Yuka personally accepts this, she feels she does not argue and she says, I'll do it, no questions asked. Most people can assume that is because she knows she's going to die anyway, and this is basically just the easiest way that she can have all of this go down. Now, this does open up a lot of different questions in regards to, is Yuka really the best fucking option they have out of everybody here? Is there something that the Jujutsu sorcerers know that we don't about Yuka? Or is there something that we haven't seen? Because again, Yuka hasn't done really anything at all since the first chapter. Now, a lot of people are wondering, why are they picking Yuka? No way is this the best we have. Well, something we do get is we actually do get confirmation that they are not able to at all find Yuji Itadori. No matter what they do, no matter who they talk to, no matter who they try to probe information from, they just can't find him. Not even to the point they have a lead. And we actually, which is very cool, they've reached out to everyone they could to the point that they actually reached out to Nobara, of all people. We actually do get to see Nobara in this chapter, which I actually fucking love. And this is a testimony that Mino shows all the higher-ups that explains where Yuji is, or at the very least, what Nobara even understands about Yuji's situation. Nobara essentially says the very last time anybody saw Yuji was at Hana Karusu's funeral, which assumedly happened before Yuta and Maki, because we know Yuji didn't attend Yuta and Maki's funeral. The reason for this, Nobara actually elaborates on, and this is because after seeing so many of his friends get old and die in front of him, he quite literally told Nobara that he can't take the pain of watching his friends die anymore. He quite literally cannot stomach it. He refuses to even be seen or even attend any future funerals of his friends, because quite literally the idea of knowing that his friends are dying around him is too much for him to handle. And the reason for that, Nobara even elaborates on even further, because she says even though he looks like just a musclehead, he's very sensitive. He can't bear to see anyone off because, not for nothing, if you remember the very first chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, his grandfather's wishes for Yuji to be strong, save everyone you can, and then die with everyone, you know, with great friends looking around you. And the more time passes and the more people die in front of Yuji, the more he realizes that every day living the exact opposite of what his grandfather's final wishes were. And what makes this even worse is what makes Yuji feel this even harsher is essentially confirming the theory that everyone was kind of, you know, privy to but wasn't completely sure of, which is the actual confirmation that Yuji himself, due to his death painting lineage, due to the Kenjaku birthing, due to the Sukuna finger, whatever exact reason it is, Yuji does not age. So on top of this fact, every time he sees his friends, he is just being reminded of the fact that he can't die. Yuji never aging, watching all of his friends die around him is just a life that he never really thought of living. It's to the point that Nobara even says that she feels like she can't ever meet up with him or even visit him and see him anymore, because it just makes her so sad that he has to constantly be so apologetic about it and feel so guilty and bad about it. And she even says to that, listen, I don't know where he is, but if you find him, tell him to stop underestimating me. Which is just the most Nobara thing in the entire world that you could ever hear. Even to this day, right now, she's telling Yuji to stop being an asshole and stop looking down on her. Stop feeling bad for her. It is a nice, great moment to see. I love seeing the characters. I love seeing the older characters and seeing how they've grown. Nobara, 84 years old, just petting her little cat with her little eye patch. So yeah, it seems like Yuji's going to be living the longest active life aside from Tengen, essentially. Yuji is going to be a very Tengen-like figure. I kind of always had a feeling that was going to be the case.